How bizarre. How bizarre. Boop, 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 boop. How bizarre. How bizarre. Boop, boop, boop.
Fuck you, Chad.
I just don't care. It's not okay.
Whenever y'all are ready, I'll go ahead and cue us up.
Bitch, I've been ready.
I feel like your beautiful voice fucking sucks the past couple of days. You know what? With that said, let's go ahead and kick this off.
Give it to the people. They want what they want.
Yeah, Javier and myself.
Okay.
They want this hog, baby.
Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the Funky Panther, coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. We've got a really fun episode for you here on episode number 93. We've got some news, group updates, some local things that have been happening that we've been really, lucky to be a part of recently. And then also we're going to get into an interview that we had over at the PBR with 2016 PBR World Champion, Cooper Davis, which is a really good time. And we'll talk about our overall PBR experience as well.
Twas a hoot.
It was a fantastic. This past week has been nuts. So
Indeed.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's get into it. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Tim.
And we are the Funky Panther.
Wait a second. Our intern's not here?
Well, yes, that is correct.
And why is that?
Well, because I don't think we told him that we were doing this.
No. But we also just came off of having
face.
an episode with Corpse and
Corpses in Cowtown.
Corpse.
This is the new murder special called Corpse in Cowtown.
Ooh,
That's actually not bad.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'll talk
I'm
to
here
Robin
for it.
about that one.
We'll find all the murders in Fort Worth.
Corks and Cowtown.
Hey,
and
Chad, real quick, whenever you came in here into my house, was the porch light on?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I think so.
Sorry.
I don't know.
do you keep it off for just murder and whatnot?
No, of course not.
All right, so I don't know how we should do this because we've been hanging out. Let's just get into what we've done the past week. Is that
Okay.
cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
And if anything that we've done is differed, then y'all can shout it out because we have been
Absolutely.
together a ton this past week.
We have.
But it's all been really
more than
good
a while.
stuff.
It's been like this hadn't done this in a while.
So let me kick it off with last Thursday. We've been talking about this for weeks now. This fantastic podcast.
We're not on video, right? By the
Hey,
way,
no.
Okay,
Who fucked with my microphone?
shut up,
me.
bitch.
Me.
Because it wasn't in position. It
Shut up,
feels
bitch.
weird.
What
All
do you
right,
think?
all right.
Someone else is going to use your microphone. I'm shorter than you.
I know.
I have more beautiful voice than you. It just had to move to accommodate.
Hang on. Listen to Corks and Cowtown's next episode that's coming out, and you just tell us who has the more beautiful voice.
He gets just a little bit of bass in his voice, and the dude gets a. Never mind. All right,
Man.
so we had our event finally in collaboration with Corks and Cowtown, and it's probably you, Robin and Lance, some of our really good friends, other fantastic podcasts that you need to check out. We had a collaborative event over at the Kimpton Harper downtown, right across the street from Grace. Really beautiful hotel. What'd y'all think about the Kimpton Harper?
Amazing. The view is sick. You get a view of 35, and you get a view of downtown. But from the view of 35, you can see AT&T Stadium, so it's very legit.
Yeah.
I was putting a low cut filter on all of us, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just up my bass a little
What?
bit.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my! You're recording
gonna-
a fucking studio where
I'm
you
just
Get
gonna-
a big head after
I'm just
one thing.
I'm going to Luther Vandross it here.
I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, it was a really beautiful venue. Up on the 24th floor, they've got a bar and a beautiful sitting area. The drinks were fantastic. There was what was it,
Belvedere, Shandon. There was
Shandon Spritz, right?
Shandon Spritz, and there was PBR also.
Yeah, which was kind of a joke because we were talking about how we wanted, podcast and PBR. If people didn't know about professional bull riding, then at least we would have PBR beer.
Yeah.
And we did. And we went through that stuff, man. Everyone was drinking some PBR.
So it was delicious.
After the delicious cocktails. I definitely had my share of delicious
Me
cocktails.
too. It was a good time had by all.
So I think we were gunning for at least 100 people. We were trying to have 100 people for it to be really worth the hotel to have us all there because they brought us free food and they had all of this stuff going on. And I think that we hit that.
Yeah, I think we definitely hit that. So we met Dustin from Jerry Jonestown Massacre,
Right.
And they said him and Susie.
Yeah.
They said they were going to come, and they showed up, which I was really excited about that. And then I met the Robo-Tuner.
Yeah, finally got to meet him in person.
You know, his whole spiel. He likes supporting the local podcast, and so he's been putting us out there on his show notes. And I feel like the next show notes we should probably do the same thing for him.
Yeah,
really supporting us. But it was great to get to really know them a little bit better than just meeting them at Arts Goggle. And then on top of that, I hadn't met the Ojos. What is it?
Osos Colosos.
Yes. So Bear Galore. Is that right? Yeah, Bears Galore. Okay. So my Spanish is
Javier. Yes or no?
I'm shaking my head. Bitch.
Yeah, he's shaking his head. Yes.
Yeah, but the podcast people can't hear you.
So my Spanish was right. Okay, so I got to meet them for the first time, and then Joe from TFTI.
Joe, Jesus, Lyrical.
Yeah, the whole TFTI crew.
Yeah,
there.
so but Joe came up to me and he was like shook my hand and everything. Was like
because he came on the show, he knew you.
Yeah. So it was nice for him to like seek me out and say hi and everything, which was really cool.
Because those guys are great, fantastic people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Juan's a great person behind the camera and helps out a lot with TFTI, and he's got, of course, Osos Colosos, and of course, Lyrical has his
Spectre?
Well, no, that's Jesus. Jesus
okay.
has Spectre Productions, and he's got the Spectre podcast, and Lyrical has the Drunken Misfits podcast.
Oh,
also.
that's right. That's right.
Man, so they all have their own little thing.
Everyone
and
except
then-
for Joe.
Dude, that seems like a lot.
No, they all have their own talents, and it's really good to see them branch out the way they're doing, and they're doing a great job. I mean, as long as they're having fun, that's all that really matters.
I'm a little jealous because it'd be really cool to do a little something different than having to hang out with you guys every week. But at the same time, like, that's so much extra work. You know what I mean? Like, there is so much work being put into this as is. Like,
because who's going to edit your podcast and who's going to do all that stuff for you?
Listen, I helped with Forever Reckless last time, and it sounded fantastic.
Sure, you did. All right.
What do you mean, sure?
I'll give you that.
No, don't say sure.
You worked
was
the board.
Was it good or was it not good?
You worked the board. You gave them the audio file, but who actually, put it up?
Anyways, boys, let's get back on track.
And the video. I did the video too.
Thank you so much to Robin of Corks and Cowtown, Lance from It's Probably You, and all the other podcasts that showed up. Of course, like I said, Osos Colosos, TFTI, Drunken Misfits, Fort Worth Roots. Who else did we see that was there?
There was a ton.
There was a ton.
And those are the ones that we've kind of talked to before.
Absolutely.
But there's like ones that we met for the first time that were really, really cool too.
Like Andrew from Fort Worth Roots. I mean, we met him once.
No. We met him once.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
Can
Andrew.
you not hear me? I feel like you can't hear me.
I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you.
Okay.
And
Weird.
it's annoying.
Shut the
I've heard your voice too long this week, too many times this week.
All right, whatever.
But again, a great turnout. Thanks again for everybody coming out. And as a matter of fact, also special shout out to Lou Charles, who's going to be our guest next week. Man, he posted up and he was a great person to talk to. We talked about the new Kendrick album coming out, which also, by the way, shout out to Film Fort Worth and Here Fort Worth. Kendrick was here August of 2020, and he recorded that N95 video for his new album. What was it? Mr. Shit.
Did you watch that video?
I did.
It's pretty good.
Very
I haven't
wild.
seen the video yet.
The song's good. The video's really good too.
The video he had for Damn was kind of like that because he was floating in Los Angeles on that on top. Are we gonna be all right? All right. And then for this one, he was floating over the ocean. But it was great visuals as always. His team is always doing a good job. But no one knew Kendrick came. No one knew Kendrick was here.
No.
So no one. So you say that, but there was some leak that came out back in 2020 that Kendrick was in town, and people posted some pictures of him that they were able to capture, but no one specified like what he was here for.
I do want to say I do remember,
or what was going on.
It's also during COVID too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So no one said what was actually going on. Nobody. I mean, I'm sure people knew, but no one actually was telling us, right?
Right.
So we did know Kendrick was here. We didn't know what for, and then now we see this beautiful masterpiece where he highlighted some of the best feature of Fort Worth, which I mean the Water Gardens. If you've never been, that's really fucking cool to go to.
You're on, buddy.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah.
Can you not hear?
I mean, it's a little. It was funny because I noticed it with Kate yesterday, but the audio came out great. So I don't have any idea. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I really appreciate everyone coming out. It wasn't just podcasts. You had people that enjoy listening to podcasts. You had people that were just there to support us or have a couple of drinks. You had Teresa from Amplify 817.
Yeah, well, she's always doing work for us. She's always helping us out, and she's the best. She's the best fucking go getter and our best fucking captain. Other than Robin. Robin's the general, but she's the captain.
Great advocates for us, which we always appreciate. And then of course, Paul, we got to meet, which you had met before, and we got to see again tonight at his studio at Nexum Creative. And really fucking cool guy. We're gonna have him on at some point.
And great studio, by the way, too. I mean, if you have a chance to go to a studio over there off of Shamrock, over there by
Defender Outdoors and University Street
and Endura Lab and all those little small businesses that are over there. Very great guy. Very
look.
Cool
if you're not as cool as us and have our own personal studio, go over there and let him do your shit.
And even then, if you want to pick his brain, like you said,
even if you have your own personal studio, you probably should just go to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's probably better.
Yeah, I mean, he had all sorts of rooms, and each one had their own little different like touch and like feel, and it was really, really cool to see. And then it was just fun to be in a different place, to be honest with you, other than what we're used to. But yeah, beautiful spot. Congrats to him on all the work that he's done there. And then so that was Thursday night. Then we went out a little bit and watched the Mavs game later that night.
Yeah, we got really shit faced.
Yeah, I was watching the Mavs. Like, I wasn't watching the Mavs, I was watching the score. Yeah, and I was getting just as excited about that, just watching the score. I can't imagine what it was like actually watching the game.
Well, we'll get into Game 7 here in a little bit. But yeah, of course, we went to Library Bar, which we used to frequent when we were younger. It was a show of his former self.
Bad.
It was so weird. They had somebody was playing. What's that fucking toss? The bag toss? What is it? Cornhole.
Yeah.
So just playing cornhole in the middle of the fucking bar. They had a race car game in there. They had
a girl playing music, but during the Mavs game.
Yeah.
Which library is kind of like a sports bar, but Thursday night used to be college night.
Absolutely. It used to be.
It was wrapped around the block.
Absolutely. And now, again, I mean, I blame Sasha Bass.
Just another thing to say, hey, downtown sucks. But
what day of the week was that?
Thursday.
That was Thursday.
That's
okay,
college.
Yeah, college night.
Yeah, but we left there and went over to Chimmy's, met up with some friends.
I mean, could it be because of the previous owner that people don't want to really go there?
I don't know.
Maybe
it could be.
Maybe they just fell off too. Because again, maybe he's right. The previous owner is a rapist.
I mean, things are
allegedly a rapist.
Things are cyclical. You know what I mean? Like nothing lasts forever for the most part.
Yeah.
And so we saw it in its prime. We had a good time, but that was also 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And so whatever.
We were kids.
Yeah. So that was Thursday. Friday, I ended up hanging out with Robin and Kate from Forever Reckless, and then Robin from Corks and Cowtown. We had brunch. I was the only guy at brunch, but it was fun conversation. It was hilarious. I cracked up. We went to Brood and then just went out. And then I didn't come back home. Like I just stayed out on 7th Street all day.
Chad.
Yeah.
You are not 20 anymore. You're not 21. You're not 22. You're not 23. You're not even 25.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
Listen, man. I just like to have a good time.
It's poppers. She's doing poppers.
I'm not doing fucking poppers.
Are we back? Are we back on the poppers?
Stop saying poppers so much. I'm not doing poppers, but no, I enjoy having a good time and I like being around people. And luckily, we went from brunch to Chimmy's and then met up with the Yardbirds and Thompson and got to go to we went to the local and Junk Punch and all over the place. It was just a fun night.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't want to turn it off whenever you're having that much fun.
Man, drinking is not fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy to have like a beer, 2, 3, but outside of that, like I would much rather.
Sorry. I was on OnlyFans.
Of course you were.
It's a creepy story, and I'll tell you off air, but it's a very creepy.
I would rather just like hang out somewhere, one bar. Like I'm a one bar guy. Let's go to one bar. Let's go to one place. Let's hang out and just enjoy some drinks. Let's enjoy each other's company, and let's call it a night.
I mean, maybe if we're going to a rabbit hole, which it's fine. Rabbit hole's rabbit hole. We go over there, we'll stay there, and that's it. But if you're like in a spot like 7th Street, then you're going to want to have to try like different spots. Like, especially ones that we've already frequented. Like
Varsity, you're going to get shot at.
I'm not going to go to Varsity. I'm going to go to Chimmy's, and I'll stay at Chimmy's. If we don't
Texas
go to Chimmy's,
Republic, you're probably going to get in a fight.
Bottle Blonde is pretty legit, though. I'm a fan of Bottle Blonde.
Bottle Blonde is Dallas.
Junk Punch is fun.
Junk Punch was fun, but I can't imagine it after like once you hit that like 9-10 o'clock at night.
The local's under new management, and I mean, it's the same feel, same place, but I'm looking forward to see what happens there. And then we went to Hookie because why not dance a little bit? And we watched the Stars game that night.
Who fucking dances?
Me, dude. I like to dance.
You're the only one.
Well, there was
I just want to dance.
There was a lot of people there dancing, so I was not the only one. I don't know. I mean, I'm down with just drinking water and doing the exact same thing I did Friday. I just had a great time being around people and dancing, and I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with drinking or not drinking.
That's fine.
So
like I said,
dance, the last dance.
All right,
I'm a one bar guy.
You're a one pump chump.
I'm not saying that. I mean, all right, let's be real. Yes, I am.
All right, so let's not get into Saturday because that's going to be our entire topic in here in just a little bit. Sunday, Tim and I kind of hung out at the pool. I didn't drink at all Sunday, but we just kind of hung out at the pool and chatted. Had a couple of LaCroix, real nice.
I had a Coke and some LaCroix.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Can't believe again that the water's so warm already. I'm pretty excited about. I think I'm going to do every Sunday pool day. And just like an open invitation for all of our friends, just like, hey, if you want to come over, cool, I'll be in the pool on Sunday.
You heard it here. If you're a fan and you want to come over to Chad's Pool Palooza, you can. You just ask for the invite.
You said Pool Palooza. It should just be Poolooza.
No.
Come on, bro.
Pool Palooza.
Poolooza.
Y'all are so fucking white.
Pool loser? That's what it sounds too close to loser.
What were you saying right before the episode?
Go with the wackest honkies ever.
No, that's not what you were saying. It's something about what did you do on Sunday?
Took Tammy to the airport and then watched the Mavericks game.
Awesome. So we'll get into sports here in a second then.
Yes.
And Tim, you started your new job, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, started I'm in the
kids.
Does he sound too high on the mic?
Hit the kids.
Hit the kids.
Congrats, man, on the new job.
No, I started a new position at work.
Was it doggy?
Yes. And
Or was it missionary, like a boring old man?
No, dog. Nothing boring about work.
Missionary's boring.
Nothing boring about work.
Nothing boring about work. No,
Okay.
it's so tomorrow, if you must know, we're teaching OSHA regulations. So that's going to be a blast.
Motion in the ocean.
No, it's been good. There's quite a few.
Right?
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's quite a few perks. One of which is I'm 8 to 5, but like I showed up at like 7 o'clock.
Why don't you be 6 to 9? Huh?
I could. I showed up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, left a little bit early, stayed a little bit late. So there's some perks to it. It is nice. It's different. It's very different from going from something that I've done for the past 14 years to now.
I'm different. I'm different. I'm different.
I'm not different.
I'm different. I'm different.
I don't wear a uniform anymore.
Give it to him, Daddy.
Different.
Yeah.
Different. He's different. He's different.
Thank you.
He's different. What else is different?
That's about it.
He's different. He's different. He's different.
It's
Tell him, Daddy.
It's EMS week, and so we're doing a lot of different things going around work. And right now we have Office Capture the Flag with Nerf guns going on.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, except for I had an alliance with another department, and someone didn't know of such alliance, and they betrayed that alliance.
Oh no!
And so I'm gunning for them this week. So
literally.
Oh yeah.
It's
gonna be good.
Gunning for.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jessie started her new job. She seems to like it. Had a lot of shit going on today. She's kind of like working from like 5 o'clock in the morning till whatever, and then she'll switch to her new shift, which means that I'm cooking at night versus her cooking, and dinner is. That's weird.
Good. That's fine, as it should be. Like, it's
I should be cooking.
Equal rights in the kitchen.
Sure.
Switch it up,
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
Everyone has.
50 said it best. Switch your style up, and if they hate, then let them hate.
Let the money pile up.
Absolutely.
We've got HelloFresh to make it easier for me.
No, you don't want to do that because the quality of the ingredients is horrible.
Well, I don't think I've used HelloFresh.
The food's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Have
Actually,
you used Hello Kitty?
With real cats.
this episode is sponsored by Hello Kitty.
Meow.
All right. So obviously we had a pretty jam-packed weekend. I think it's time for us to get into a little bit of sports, don't you?
I mean, should we?
Yes.
I guess I guess we can. And now, Action Sports with Javier. Take it away, Javier.
By the time you already know, obviously, the Dallas Mavericks won Game 7. At one point, they were leading 46 points in the second half. Man, could not believe that it was such a great,
what was that final score? It was
the final score was 113-86. Of course, there are excuses everywhere with Chris Paul's quad and discount Kobe Bryant, Devin Booker.
People are going to make excuses though.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's
happen,
and dandy. But the Dallas Mavericks prevailed Game 7. As a matter of fact, the fans were leaving at the third quarter.
I noticed that.
It was
that was sad.
What kind of team? They took you to the finals last year.
Yes.
How dare you as a squad? How dare you as a fan base leave at the third quarter, even though you're going to lose, but it's the last game.
I was upset for the team.
Fucking underdogs. They weren't. I mean, it was an upset. So what? The Suns were ranked number 1.
Yeah,
they were set number 1, and
they had the best league in the league. Best record in the league.
And what happens? Luka comes off of a calf strain, and he really performed. So
it's funny because, obviously, they went in, or the Suns went into the first half with what, 27 points, right?
Yes.
And then so did Luka.
Yeah.
He had just as many points as the entire Suns.
As the entire team, yeah.
And I know that they got him on the mic. They're like, "Hey, did you know that you had the exact same amount of points as the Suns?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. Of course I did."
I want Luka to have the same big dick energy as Larry Bird. I want him to start trash talking.
Bro, he already does.
He does.
I know.
You can read his lips. He's calling Devin Booker pussy ass.
Yeah.
Well, he was trying to give the ball to a ref or something like that, and the guy took the ball out of his hand.
Yeah.
And there's a whole video on Sports Center about it, and on TikTok and stuff like that. And it's this is what changed the momentum of the entire series or whatever.
And people talk shit about Luka because he is not the typical fit.
He's been a pro since he was 16 years old.
But he's not the typical typical fit of a traditional basketball player.
It doesn't matter when our team was draining threes like they were.
No.
He's a little bit thicker.
Stupid.
And he doesn't have that overall look, and I like that. I like the fact
huge.
that
I'm just going to say right now, he is huge.
Yeah.
The way he pushed Cam, what's his name with the Suns? It's not Cam Reddish.
Cameron Johnson?
Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
He fucking made him. He pushed him 8 feet.
He's got that weight to back it up.
Absolutely.
But on top of that, he's got the stamina to keep playing, though. And a lot of guys that are in that type of realm may not necessarily have that stamina.
I mean, don't get it twisted. He's still a thick boy coming off the Olympics. But, I mean... No,
it doesn't matter when you play like that. Honestly, it doesn't matter when you play like that.
But, I mean, still...
Where's he from?
He's from Slovenia.
I want to send a postcard to them.
Okay.
Just the country?
Yeah.
You want to send a postcard to the entire country of Slovenia.
Thank you for Luka. He has done us well.
Man, the man's elite. He's won a championship and an MVP with Real Madrid over in Europe.
Yeah.
So props to the motherfucker. He deserves it. As a matter of fact, I look back at Kobe, rest in peace, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan's career. He came to the league at 85 in 1985. He didn't get his first ring until 91 because the bad boy Detroit, kind of wrecked everything. But it's good seeing this now with Luka. He's in his 4th season, and he's just doing big things.
I think this is his year. You're not gonna say. I don't know. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. We'll make the noise.
No. Yes. Thank you.
We'll make the noise. I'm going to say that this is his year. He's really. I mean, coming off of that injury and then actually getting out there and playing, he is really proving himself.
So either way, this is huge.
Back to sports. With this,
we've been on sports this whole time.
With y'all are sidetracking me. With this, the Dallas Mavericks go against the Golden State Warriors. By the time you listen to this, the game would have already been played. They played Wednesday, Game 1 in Golden State at 8:00. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, Game 2 is going to be on Friday. So tune in. Go Mavs.
You worried about Steph?
Huh?
You worried about Steph?
Steph's always kind of a worry, in my opinion. Steph Curry
Klay Thompson's back, so that kind of worries me. And they're a more set team. But, I mean, you have to play through adversity. Steph is the best player on the planet. He can shoot from anywhere. He makes dimes. I mean, the man, you got to give it to him. He's a legend. And I know you're going to hate somebody in this series, and if it's going to hate anybody, it's going to be Draymond Green. I think he's going to get away with shitty fouls. He's going to try to kick. He's kicked Luka in the balls once.
Jesus.
But
what?
you're going to have to play. I mean, I'm trying to think of like our set pieces. I'm worried, but I mean, I'm very hopeful with it. So again, like I said, by the time you listen to this, game 2 is going to be at Golden State. Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics are currently playing right now. It looks like there is a 10-point lead with the Miami Heat leading. Again, by the time you listen to this, it's going to be game 2. So we'll see. Maybe it's going to be another Heat Mavericks final. Well, who knows?
I'd be okay with that.
Me too. It's going to be
as long as the Mavericks are like, as long as they succeed.
Look, I think after this we can beat anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the adversity it took to defeat the Suns, because the whole thing was whoever wins away would win the series. And again, it was game 7 and we just had our batteries and we just took off.
Unfortunately, the Stars did not prevail. They went into overtime. 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2 Calgary. Calgary was, again, I think, a number one.
They are
ranked number one, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, if they would have won, the Stars would have won. They would have had like the easiest route to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, because they were the first wild card one.
Right.
Wild card one. And we barely got in.
It would be nice to have the Stars go to another finals again, but maybe next year. Hopefully next year.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
It was a good series, and it was a really close game.
Cheers to the goalie too, man. He had like 64 saves, and Jesus, like he was the MVP, even though they lost. He was the MVP of that whole series.
Yeah, he just killed it. And it was funny at the end of the game, everyone's like, give him his roses.
Yeah, absolutely.
As
they should.
Game.
There you go.
Everyone was doing that.
He was just killing.
Props to him.
So is that sports?
That's sports.
All right. Well, that was sports with Javier. Thank you, Javier.
Meow. I'm just gonna implement that now. Meows everywhere, baby. Funky Panther. Meow.
Meow.
So, I mean, how much news do you want to get into? I've got some interesting stuff, and I can play a couple pieces and get your take on it.
I got a KFC Famous Bowl waiting outside.
Okay.
Is that why you're on your phone so much?
Yes.
Okay. And now it's time for news with Tim. Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Chadley. So, have y'all heard that they have sentenced the drug dealer that supplied Mac Miller with fentanyl?
Yeah, but it's not. It wasn't a long sentence. So
that's 210
upsetting.
months, but that's
17 years.
Yeah, so that is. I mean, regardless, that's a huge deal, because it's been hard to prosecute drug dealers and stuff like that and tie them to specific deaths. So that just came down. So Andrew Walter, 49, was sentenced to 210 months in prison in the U.S. Attorney's Office, or what the U.S. Attorney's Office announced. He did agree to plead guilty, so that kind of took a plea deal. But still, 210 months, and that's something that doesn't normally happen. You don't normally get those sentences for drug dealers, and the fact they were able to track down the drug dealer that sold the drugs to Mac Miller that then killed him.
Now find the one that did Michael K. Williams. Find that drug dealer and find the one who gave the drugs to Lil Peep. Actually, I think they did.
I mean, we're talking about famous people, but this is like a legit issue.
It's a growing. Okay, it didn't become an issue until white people were dying from it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Let's just be real. Let's be real.
It's. I mean, it wasn't.
It probably was true. I mean, I will say that fentanyl has been like a bigger precursor now in drugs over the past like few years than it has been in the past, because it's cheap and easy to cut different drugs with and make more money. So it makes sense. But I mean, that was several years ago when Mac Miller died. And would you say like his music flourished more after his death?
I didn't start listening to Mac Miller until after he passed.
Same. And it's kind of like the same as like your different like artists, like painters and stuff like that, that their pieces come up and become more prolific. Yeah, right.
Same thing.
I also think one of his best albums happened around the same time, like not too soon before that. And so I agree with you. I think it's some of that piece of it, but also that album that came out with
Was it the Divine Feminine?
Shit. And then it was Swimming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Swimming in 2018. And then the song Self-Care. I mean, like that was
yeah.
That was I mean, the whole album was great, but like that song, I feel like was what did it for him.
To move on to something completely different, did you know that Six Flags offered a food pass?
They did.
They don't anymore. So a guy bought a food pass from Six Flags.
It's $200, right?
$200 on top of your season pass, right?
Yeah.
So that gave you unlimited food and drink, essentially. Like you could go in and get like snacks throughout the day and 2 meals
For the year?
Yes. So what this guy did, he lived close by to a Six Flags, and so this was with advice, but he ended up going and basically making his meals around Six Flags. He didn't pay for a meal after that. He'd go to hot dog or whatever. Go
he
get
life
drinks.
hacked the shit out of it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
But
smart.
then he fucked up though. He fucked up for everybody else because he started posting about it on social media and showing this life hack, and then it got the attention of Six Flags, and now the CEO has said that they are removing that and they're going to reevaluate stuff. They were upset because there was people that got that particular pass, and then they would tie up the food lines for people who maybe bought a day pass. And so these people that came from like 100 miles away just for the day, they went to Six Flags, and now they're having to wait hours in line for food, and they felt like that was a disservice. Really, it's just this guy, like he posted this hack, and like we live close to Arlington.
yeah.
We could have done this for $200 and ate dirt cheap for a year.
It would have been worth the drive.
Yeah, the gas prices. Come on,
fuck
bro.
that.
Well, at this point,
My
yes.
truck's
Okay.
diesel.
Okay. Well, your truck's diesel, and that's dumb. And that's on you, bud. I can't help that. You should have saw in the future and known that. So
Should have ridden a bike and been ecologically safe.
props on this guy for figuring out the life hack, though.
I think it's ridiculous because they're likely making so much more money than what this guy was putting down.
okay, what could a hot dog really cost?
Right, and like think about the thousands of people that are spending $200 a year and only eating there twice.
I got a life
year.
hack. If you're hungry and you want to save money for lunch, go to your local elementary school, punch a kid, take his lunch, boom, lunch.
Oh, I thought you were saying just get in line and act like a.
Oh yeah,
I'm a ninth grader.
You ever seen that movie Jack? That's me. I'm Jack.
Billy Madison?
Yeah, that's the one.
It's like the Jump Street movie. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Just went back in time. Yeah.
You're a cop. What?
No.
You turn around.
Okay, so moving on from that, I'm a big fan of like aliens and space and all that stuff, right? Did y'all hear that NASA released what a black hole sounds like?
No.
All right, so everybody thinks that space is a vacuum and you can't hear sound.
Yeah, I would assume it'd be silent.
Right, everybody thinks that, right? Well, so what they've released is actually that's not the case. So if there's matter in an area, essentially, then that means that sound can bounce off of and stuff like that. Granted, the vast majority of space outside of nebulas and all that stuff would be audioless, right? No sound. That's not the case with the black hole. So they released this black hole sound. I'm gonna play it for us, dude. It's fucking creepy.
Okay.
So what they've done is they've taken it and like raised it up like 52 or 57 to 58 octaves above of what the sound is. So typically you wouldn't be able to hear with the human ear, but they did raise it. So let's go ahead and play that.
This isn't going to be like the brown noise, right? Like,
it's fucking creepy.
that is weird.
Sounds
Yeah.
like ghouls and goblins
But
running amok.
it's also mesmerizing, though.
It
a little
is.
bit.
And so one of my friends posted this and they said, is it weird that I like this?
Yeah, I do too. Like, I feel like I could go to sleep to that.
Right. And she said the same thing.
Yeah.
It is very, very disturbing. The fact that you can go to sleep by it.
Right.
No, I mean,
You white people are weird.
well, I mean, a black hole's like literally sucking in everything. Like it's destroy. Like
Sounds like my ex-wife. Hey-o. I don't have an ex-wife.
But NASA also took.
It's me, Javier, brother.
Yes,
I just got to let it be known.
I think they know.
Thanks for the clarification.
I just had to. I'm sorry.
So
I don't know, man. Fuck.
NASA also shared back in November of last year.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's fine.
They shared music from deep space, nebula using data sonification. So data sonification is literally taking like no.
Come on, dude. Get on with it.
It's actually pretty cool. So they take like science, right? But then they apply.
And now it's science time with Tim.
Shut up.
Science here with Dr. Tim. Hey, Dr. Tim, tell me another story about space, you fucking nerd.
And he's been muted.
Here,
Okay.
I'm going to hijack this. Did you know that Congress today held their first UFO hearings in half a century?
Yes. It's insane,
Call
right?
them unidentified aerial
Listen,
phenomenon.
Why don't we have like a space episode soon?
We should. But listen to this. Okay, I'm going to play this.
We're gonna listen.
So they took data and they applied musical instruments to the data. This is a butterfly nebula, and I want you to just listen to it and tell me what you think.
Hey, it's me, Gilbert Godfrey.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
They took the data and applied instruments to it. This is not what space sounds like. They just took the data. It's beautiful.
Can you?
I can sleep to that too.
Can you have them put like a drum kit to that?
It would be very jazzy. Yeah, it would definitely be jazzy.
Hey, it's me, Gilbert Godfrey from the grave. This is how universe sounds. It's a butterfly universe, everybody.
How did he get in space?
He's dead. He can be whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's everywhere, man. Gilbert's everywhere.
Thanks, Iago.
All right.
You're welcome.
But for real, like the thought of like, if you told me they were going to have the sound of a black hole 20 years ago or 15 years ago, I wouldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with this, like to be able to put that science behind it. On top of that, so we got the Mars rover, right?
Yeah.
Mars has two different sound, like speeds of sound travel.
You know what Mars really needs?
It needs MILFs.
It needs MILFs.
It needs MILFs. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this.
It does.
If you caught episode 99 of the TFTI podcast,
Shh.
Mars needs MILFs.
We don't need to know that. We already knew that. You just,
Maybe if they need to check out the MILFs Gone South podcast coming soon.
MILFs down south.
MILFs Down South.
Yeah.
Sucking this down. Going down south.
Okay.
But there's so
Let
much.
him finish.
There's so much shit that's coming out right now, which is insane. And then you start looking at like, so have y'all watched the Elon Musk documentary about SpaceX?
No.
You gotta watch it. It's very interesting. It's very
you're
good.
Very passionate about space.
Dude, I fucking
tonight.
love space.
Are you an actual alien? Is that what you're?
No, I love space.
Are you the space ambassador to Earth or something?
future plan?
I fucking love space.
I fucking love space.
They don't make fun of your penis in space.
This episode's gonna be called PBR. I fucking love space.
I wish they would let me go up there.
Today's episode is sponsored by Space. Space. You know, it's a vacuum and your head will explode.
Space.
Unless you're in the nebula, and it might not. I don't know.
I don't know how space
Yeah.
works.
So there's a whole bunch of shit that's coming out now because of all the technology, which is really cool.
It is neat.
Where's
And
my
then-
lightsaber?
And then, well, it's I will send you a link.
Thanks.
There's a lot of things coming, and I think
Gross.
Elon's talking about, so they're gonna have a manned mission to the moon first is the plan, and then a manned mission shortly thereafter. I think 2 years after to Mars.
I have a space fact.
Yeah.
So NASA released this like sign up sheet to where you could put your name on a list, and they're about to send something around the moon, and so my name's going to be on.
So they're going to send a piece of paper with your name on it in space and say,
Yeah, that's good.
"Hey Chad, we sent this piece of paper around the fucking world. You fucking happy? Here's your fucking."
I
already got my certificate. I'm looking forward to it.
It's funny.
I got
funny.
my ticket number and
It's
everything.
funny because I did the same thing to the sun, so mine's better than yours.
No, you didn't.
I swear to Christ.
Sidebar.
5 years ago, I did.
Sidebar. Have you noticed that we went from the Apollo mission sending rockets up with a capsule, then we went to the space shuttle, and now we're back to a rocket with a capsule?
It's safer.
It is.
I mean, you know, the SpaceX, they have an emergency eject.
Right. It
that'll-
jettisons it up. If you watch the documentary,
quickly.
it shows that, and they actually demonstrated it. It was fucking
All right,
cool.
we'll watch the documentary.
Watch the documentary.
You sold us.
What are you doing with that
Jesus.
votive? Put that down. Give me
I'm doing
that.
what I want to do. I'm a grown ass man.
Are you?
I try to be.
For a grown ass man, you sure don't know how to wipe your ass.
And how did you know?
And that was News with Me. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so again, we went to PBR this weekend with podcasts and PBR at PBR. Again, we interviewed Cooper Davis, 2016 PBR world champ. It was such an honor to get to know him and
What
talk
a
to
hell of
him.
a guy.
Absolutely.
Really cool dude.
You know, the guys enjoyed their conversation with him about bow shooting, or was it bow hunting?
Well, just hunting, big game ranch, and riding bulls, man.
And of course, I had a little question about hip movement and thrusts. So
okay, wait. Why don't you tell everybody before we get into it, just to let them know exactly what was your thought process on this one?
Do they hula hoop to get a workout from moving their hips?
Because it's
like a
all
physical therapy.
because it's all in the hips, baby.
All in the hips.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me. I'm not going to say it for verbatim, but I'm pretty sure he said I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that he was kind of put off by your question.
He probably was. Maybe
I think that ruined the interview. I believe
actually did.
In fact, I believe he just left after that. He was just done.
Listen, let's take a step back. So, for those of you that don't know what PBR is, other than Pabst Blue Ribbon, it is professional bull riding. It is a very, very big deal.
And a worldwide sport at that.
It is. And it's not something that is just like the rodeo down the road. We live here in Fort Worth, or most of us do. If you're not, then, you're Texas, or you probably know a rodeo somewhere nearby. This is nothing like that. This is huge. And so we got invited because of the podcast and PBR events. They saw that we were doing a thing, and they're like, hey, why don't y'all have a few of your podcasts come down to Dickies Arena, and we'll give you some media passes. We'll say, hey, we'll get you some people to interview. Lance got to interview Cody Lambert,
which is pretty much like him and a few other guys started PBR.
Yeah, which is a big deal. I mean, the names that were behind some of these interviews that we got to meet and chat with were huge. Even for people like me that don't know a ton about PBR, I've heard of some of these people.
So just to put it in perspective, the PBR World Finals is considered the richest bull riding event in the world. It features a more than $2.7 million purse. And that's including a $1 million bonus for the PBR world champion.
So this is still going on, and if you have the chance, I would highly recommend it. So down where we were at this little podcast studio they set up for us, which was really, really nice. There's this entire expo. There's clothing. There's Traegers. There's beef jerky. There's a mechanical bull.
Axe throwing.
I mean, there's all sorts of shit to do down there, and that's completely free. It's all free if you want to go to Dickies and hang out at least downstairs in the pavilion, and go hang out and check out some of this stuff. And also, you get to meet some bull riders. We got to meet the number one champ for the past 2 years in a row.
Well, he's number 2 now, right?
He's currently
currently number 2 right now.
But while we stuck around and watched the event on Saturday night, and we saw him ride and he killed it. So I mean, anything can happen in this event because it's basically 8 days long, or a little week and a half, something like that.
About a week to almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, Paul McCartney's there tonight.
Yeah. So when this drops, you'll still have the opportunity to go check out.
Should have used the media passes.
Yeah, right. You'll still have the opportunity to go check out PBR, and I would highly recommend it because I'm not a big bull riding fan. I had not watched it, and I was super entertained. I mean, I know you were. Your shirt came off at one point.
It did. My nipples were flailing everywhere.
If it wasn't for a birthday and going to birthday dinner and whatnot, I would have been there. I'm actually a huge PBR fan and love anything that has to do with the rodeo. So,
well, luckily we got the media passes, so hopefully you can go back up there and check it out.
I plan on doing it Friday. Leanne Rhymes is going to be playing. I'm going to try to see her.
But yeah, it was just a really cool event. It was a really cool opportunity because so many things have been we've been able to do recently. And I know we've talked about it here on the podcast. We're just very, very fortunate to be a part of some of these events. We got to meet some of the guys, the VP and Orleman, the goalie from
Panther City
Lacrosse. Yeah. We got to go to South by. Now we got to do this PBR event. We're just extremely fortunate to be a part of it.
We're just doing it all.
I'm trying my best to not be a braggart. I am seriously just so excited about the things that we have got to do this year.
If you're not famous and you want to come on the podcast, pay us money. If you are famous, you can come on for free.
I mean, it's been a good year, and so it was just a really cool opportunity. And so, yeah, I just want to say that to kind of lay the groundwork before we talk about the interview itself. Coming here from Fort Worth, Texas, right here at the Dickies Arena at the PBR World Finals. This has been amazing already. And we've got Cooper Davis here with us. You want to say hey, Cooper?
Hey, what's up?
So glad to have you on. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Tim.
And we are
the Funky Panther.
Woo! You already know what it is. Nothing but illustrious guests here in Fort Worth. We are ready. Cooper, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going, baby.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
All right, so Cooper, just to start off, we did a little research on you. So you're from Jasper, Texas originally?
Yeah, originally from Jasper.
But now live in Dallas.
Yep.
Okay, we won't hold that against you. I mean, we love Fort Worth. Fort Worth's our home. But I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, close to the airport.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that is a good thing for sure.
So when you started getting into bull riding, how old were you?
I was a little kid, I was 5, 6 years old, watched it on TV, watched it on the PBR, and that's kind of what got me into it. Not necessarily like a rodeo background in the family.
But just saw it and you're like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty cool,
Okay.
And sister ended up marrying a guy that rode bulls when I was 13, 14, and that was kind of my avenue to talk to my parents and to let me do it.
Gotcha. So when you first got on, like the first time you ever rode, I mean, are you able to look back and remember how you felt that day getting on that bull?
Yeah, it was like the same feeling I get, right now. It's just a full adrenaline rush and, I don't know, a feeling you can't describe.
So
that never goes away. It's just like consistently, you still have that feeling?
Yeah, consistently you still have the feeling.
Wow.
You can remember things now that I couldn't remember then because everything was just a blur. But yeah, you still get the feeling.
So that takes me into this question. When you first climb onto the bull and you're getting your hand in position, are you aware of the crowd, or is everything just focused on the job at hand?
Oh no, like I can hear everything. Like my little boy normally sits up right in front of me there, and I can see him. He's like cheering me on, and like I can hear certain things. Music, the announcers, they're going through the whole thing. Yeah.
So it's really cool thinking about that because everybody. I'm not saying just bull riders, but like everybody in general, whenever adrenaline drops, some people have this focused effect where all their hearing goes, their vision narrows, and all they can just focus on what they're doing. Versus some people seem to get like right into like the music that's going on or the crowd or like focusing on your little boy. So it's really interesting how everybody's a little bit different in regards to that. When you first are preparing for your ride, do you have any like rituals that you go through right before you climb up on the chutes or the night before?
Yeah, so like 5-10 minutes before I get on every time, like I'll go through the same routine. Like I'll look at the Cooper Tires barrel, associate that with my name, close my eyes, see myself riding the bull over and over, and just like keep telling myself, like there's no bull here that can throw you off. You're the best one here. So it's kind of the same routine, visualizing it and seeing it into fruition.
Do you think there's just as much of like a mental, game as opposed to also being a physical game, right? Because that's what it sounds like when you say that, right?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely, I'd say 90% mental once you get everything figured out. Definitely there's a learning curve, but once you get it all figured out, you know how to do it. It's almost talking yourself into doing it, every time rather than thinking about what you have to do, I guess, basically.
So whenever you first started getting into PBR, I think it was PBR. I read that someone said that you were too big.
Yeah. So my rookie year, I weighed 167 pounds.
That's too big?
Yeah, that was too big.
Okay.
5'8", 5'9", 167 pounds, and I kind of took it to heart. I lost about 30 pounds before the finals that year, and went to the finals and won it.
Wow. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to listen to an earlier interview, and they basically what was talked about is kind of like most bull riders are in that in between phase of like almost like jockey size or what is it, the wrestler size?
Steer wrestler.
Yeah, so kind of in between. So you gotta be small, agile, almost like a gymnastics, but you also have to have that like just like that wrestler mindset because you are on that bull, kind of holding on for your dear life.
Yeah, and like what I've learned with it is you have to be as light as you can be, but as strong as you can be at the same time. So I got to a point where I was 132 pounds, and man, I felt almost sick. Like I rode really well, but I felt fragile.
They say whenever you are short, whenever it's a short, and I'm not going to say it's a short man sport, but for every inch that you have of length on your arm, it adds 20 pounds of force.
Yeah, it's a short man sport.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, short guys, they have more success. 6 foot guys and up, it gets a lot harder. Like you said, anything you can take away weight or height wise, you're in better shape.
And so, like whenever I watch, they have their wrists taped up. Is that just? I mean, how easy is it for your wrist to break whenever you're in that position?
So the wrist, taping your wrist, it's more or less to keep your glove from sliding back, because your glove's so sticky and, you go to get your hand out of your rope, your whole glove will come off. So kind of just keep that on there. I
do have to apologize. I didn't introduce you as former world champion Cooper Davis.
It's okay.
So 2016, right?
We need to recognize
awesome.
that.
Yeah, big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal.
So your first year in PBR, you were what, 19?
20.
20. Okay. So and then you come off and you won a finals event, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I won the finals first year.
And then first year actually in. Yeah, so that's incredible. I mean, I can't imagine coming in as a rookie and basically doing a clean sweep like that. Yeah. So, I mean, afterwards, you always hear like, how do you feel after winning that? But I mean, did your mindset change, or did you just kind of like, I came in here to win, that's what I was going to do, and I just did it?
So probably the last 3 or 4 months of the season, my focus was to win the finals. It wasn't to win the next event. It wasn't to be better at the next event. It was to be ready and prepared for the finals, and that was kind of my mindset going the last 3 or 4 months was, hey, I just want to win the finals. So I set a goal, accomplished it. The next season I wanted to win the world, and that's what I did.
And that was off an injury too, right?
Yeah, so let's see, September of 2016 I broke my collarbone.
Wow.
That was 6 weeks before the finals. I was off for 13 days after surgery, and came back day 14, and I don't know. I rode really well. I rode better with a broken collarbone than I ever had in my whole career.
Just like a fire you had. It just that passion.
Yeah, it was a passion, but it was also one of those deals like when something's hurting or bothering you, you want to do everything to keep it from hurting. So to keep the pressure off of it, I was riding correct. I was staying off my butt, and that keeps the pressure off that shoulder, the collarbone.
Right.
So talk us through. I mean, I'm sure you could probably remember, but talk us through that ride that you won, that caused you to win the last ride for the finals.
Yeah, that bull's name is Catfish John. I'd had a lot of success on him before, and he's a bull that I would repeatedly go back to every chance I got. And I think I got on him 6 or 7 times and rode him 4 or 5. And but yeah, I mean, it was just everything was just set up that day. Like I woke up that morning, I knew what bull I had. I knew I was going to win the world. And the bull turned back to the right, did everything he normally does, and I just stayed focused. And the only thing that was bad about the whole ride was getting off, and it was because I had my glove so sticky that I didn't want to let go.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Tim is a big PBR fan, loves watching bull riding. I enjoy watching it, but I'm not like really in tune with it, so I didn't really understand how big of a deal that the bull plays into the entire piece of that, right? So why is that such a big deal, like picking the right bull?
Yeah, I mean, it's 50-50 with the bull and the rider. Bulls are marked up to 50 points. Riders are marked up to 50 points. So in all reality, bull bucks as hard as a bull can buck, and a rider bucks or rides in control the whole time. It's 100 points. But if you have a terrible bull and a good ride, you're going to be 70 to 80 points. And
so terrible one that's like not bucking, just
not
kind of
bucking
calm.
hard.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just kind of running out through the arena there. If you have one that's getting in the air really high and kicking over his head and spinning both ways, and that's what the judges are looking to see, and that's how you get marked a bunch of points.
So when you have a bull that doesn't really perform, I know in some cases you get a re-ride. I would imagine that'd be like almost getting like kind of kicked in the nuts. Like you get off that and you're just like devastated, and then you got to go through that whole mindset. You got to do another draw on another bull, right? Yeah. And then you're gonna go out and try to ride this other bull. And how does your mindset change? I mean, do you have to just adapt on the fly, or?
Yeah, I mean, you have to adapt on the fly. You have to know, what the re-ride bull is. A lot of times, they'll have a pin or a pin set before, so we can go say, hey, if you get a re-ride, this is a good bull, this isn't a good bull, he'll fit me, he won't. And you're kind of halfway prepared for it before it ever happens.
And so for people that don't know, you can also challenge your time as well, correct?
Yeah, so there's been times I've won and lost the challenges, but say, your hand comes out of your rope at 7.99, and you want the judges to go back and look at it again. You can hit the re-ride or the challenge button, they'll go back and look at it. You might gain a tenth of a second, you might lose one.
It's pretty heartbreaking though whenever and I've seen like when they're angry almost and they just slam that button and they just walk back, and it's like, man, you want to get that a second, but then you see the replay and they lose like a quarter of that. So I mean, it's
like I said, you lose some, you win some. The only thing is, when you get it wrong, you get fined $100 or $500 whenever.
Oh my God!
Judges get it wrong, they don't get fined anything. They just missed it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have an opportunity to ride in Dickies, have you?
I don't think I have.
Okay, not yet. So whenever you were with PRCA, did you ever ride at Will Rogers?
I did, yeah.
Going from Will Rogers and then looking at what we got here, what's your feeling about that?
I love it. This is a great venue. It's top of the line.
I kind of miss that nostalgic feel about Will Rogers, though.
I do. I miss, the Cowtown Coliseum feel. Going to rodeo when you get the, all the prestigious old venues.
Right.
But whenever it's AC and all that climate controlled, it's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities to be back behind the chutes, and I would tell you, like, it would get so crowded back there at Will Rogers, but it also felt like just a lot more energy. Working here, so I do EMS, and so there's times that I'm back there behind the chutes here now too, and there is that energy, but it just doesn't feel the same to me. And maybe it's just because I'm still holding on to Will Rogers. Could just be that's where I grew up going and watching these rodeos. I don't know, but that's how it feels for me at least.
Yeah. So last year we went on like this whole COVID tour where everything was outside. And, I realized right then that I'd gotten pretty used to this whole climate control thing, and I've turned into a diva bull rider, I guess.
Spoiled almost. I mean, you can't beat it, especially this palace right here.
Well, now you say spoiled. Like, now that it's moving from Vegas to here, like, I can always see like Vegas being. It's different though. Like, Vegas is a fun destination, but you're working, right? So like, how is that different from now it being in your backyard here?
Yeah, I mean, I love Vegas, but being able to go home in between events, 30 minutes here and there. I mean, that's nice. I've been to Vegas enough times that
I'm sure. Yeah.
I just assume stay at home and do it here.
Plus, Fort Worth's Cowtown. So I mean, it's kind of fitting. I mean, we have a rich legacy in rodeo and all that stuff, and now bringing the PBR World Finals here, it just seems right.
It is. I think the final should be in Texas. Being a cowboy, that's what you think of as Texas.
Absolutely. It's where the West begins.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So you brought up your son. He watches from the stand. How old is he?
He'll be 7 next week.
So has he started riding bulls?
Nope. We started golf and.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So does he have any desire to follow in his dad's footsteps?
No, it's kind of one of those deals you've been around it your whole life. It's second nature to him, and I've never pushed it on him.
Yeah.
I'd prefer him not do it.
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, I mean, you've been in this for so long. You can surely see what it does, right?
Yeah, you see how it puts you like through your what your body's been put through.
Right.
Broke my neck, shoulder, collarbone, just everything there is to break. And if he could go pick up a set of golf clubs and go make a few $1 million doing that, that's a lot safer.
So you broke your net riding Midnight Rock, right?
Yeah.
So I watched that video and I mean, watching you come off that bull and then you just stood up. Man, if that happened to me, I'd probably lay there and just die. I would accept fate at that point.
That was the weirdest thing because my neck never hurt. It was just stiff. And you think whenever you break your neck, like that's going to be a crazy feeling. And it wasn't. Like I was debating on going the next weekend. My aunt, she's a PA, and later towards it got closer to going to Chicago the following weekend. She's like, you really need to go get an X-ray. And I went and got one, and it was broke. And then everybody panicked.
Yeah. So with that type of injury, I mean, how long did that put you out?
About six and a half months.
Okay. Wow. Now, my next question with that is, if given the chance, would you get on Midnight again, or would you have that being apprehensive?
I picked him after that.
Oh, did you? Okay. How'd that ride go?
No good.
So Midnight's not your bull.
Not yet.
All right, got it. All right. At some point, maybe you can make it.
So food wise, like before an event, before you ride, is there something specific you eat, or do you just like not eat because are you ever on your nerves?
Yeah, I'll normally eat breakfast that day, and unless it's like an 8 o'clock event or something like that, like I won't eat lunch. I try to stay light. I definitely don't try to eat too heavy on game day.
What are you watching right now on Netflix?
Switch it up.
Whatever my wife puts on, I don't know. I I don't have any control over the remote at my house.
But how about other sports? Like, what else are you into besides? Bull riding. You said your son plays golf. You play golf with your son. Do you like watching the PGA Tour?
I do like it. If I had to pick between any sport, though, I mean, it'd be football. That's what I grew up playing. Love watching it.
Who's your team?
Dad's always been a Dallas Cowboys fan.
There it
it's like a
is.
family deal. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Inherited.
that's it.
So when you were in school, though, I mean, you started off playing football. That's kind of what you did. But then once bull riding, you just kind of gave up the football aspirations and went all in, or
No, so I played football all through high school, and I enjoyed it. I was pretty decent at it, and I'm 5'8", though. I'm never going to be an NFL player. So you weigh the odds, which one's going to be better for me in the long run, and it's bull riding.
Right.
Cole Beasley's short. Like
Yeah.
Cole Beasley,
And that was kind of the deal I would go with. Like I tried to quit football one year, and my coach went and changed my schedule. He's like, "No, you're not quitting football. Like we need you." So
what's so? I mean, I was in Jasper. So what size school is that?
that's a 4A school.
Okay, it's 4A school.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just imagine like Jasper being like almost like 1A or something like that. But no, it's much larger.
3A to 4A, depending on the year. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So other than that, I saw that you hunt. I
Yeah.
did do a little bit of social media stock just to kind of like figure out a little bit. You got some big bucks that you're hitting, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like everything that I ride bulls for is to be able to afford to hunt. It's got to be expensive, and that's another thing that I do with my kid. I get to go out and enjoy the outdoors, and not have to be around 1,000 people at a time. So.
Yeah, I think he got a pretty big hog. I think, right? I think I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a pretty avid hunter. He's I don't know. That's what he's Mac and Dad Outdoors. He's got a YouTube channel, so he thinks he's big time right now.
That's awesome. Do you both? I saw that you bow hunt. Does he bow hunt too, or just rifle, bow, a little bit of both?
He hunts with a crossbow. He's trying to get his weight up right now, so he can pull a big boy bow. There,
right.
So.
Nice.
Do you prefer bow hunting over rifle?
Yeah. So that if I had my preference, anytime that I'm healthy and able to pull a bow back, there's been years that. Shoulder problems, neck problems, whatever. But yeah, that's all I want to do is bow hunt.
Yeah, I'm not as big into bow hunting. Like I love bow hunting. I like being able to get like close, and it's a lot more like, I mean, when you're hunting with a bow, you've got to be a lot more particular about your sense and how close you are and the sounds and things like that. Rifle, you can hide up in a tree somewhere and you're good to go. I mean, I guess you do that too with the bow, but I don't know. The up close and personal, it just feels more like a hunt. You know what I mean? I'm with you.
Yeah, and you miss a lot of opportunities that way, but it kind of teaches you to enhance your skills, and to me that's more in tune with, I guess, the animal and nature and all that stuff. You're trying to beat something that's got senses like that. And that's what I guess is so attractive to me about it.
Do you have any dream hunt that you want to do?
I went to Africa. That was one of the deals that I was most looking forward to. New Zealand stag hunt. That's something I haven't done yet, and I'd love to. But
I've been wanting to get down south and do was it Nilgai?
Nilgai?
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that.
That's a good meat.
Yeah.
One of my friends just got back from one of those not too long ago, and he went through this whole preparation talking about going out there and actually like stalking and figuring out where they are at, because they're very elusive, and I guess I didn't realize that. And they spent like a full day of just like planning kind of deal, and then they were successful with it. Brought back
a weird fact about a nilgai is the only way to hunt them is to hunt their poop piles.
Really?
Yeah, like that. They go back to the same one every time.
Wow. Okay. Had no idea.
Yep. Weird fact of the day.
Yeah, that's random. I love it.
So whenever you make it, we are a Fort Worth-based podcast, and you being in Dallas now, I know you probably come out here to Fort Worth from time to time. You're here now. Are there any particular spots that you like to hit up, like Joe T's or?
We've been to Lonesome Dove a few times.
Oh, love Lonesome Dove.
That's good.
Do you get the rattlesnake?
No, I haven't tried that yet. But I don't know. I don't know. That's probably. I don't know. Joe T's is pretty good, and then I guess if you're going to go down some barbecue, Risky's is pretty solid.
Awesome.
So what's your training regimen like?
Right now, it's just trying to get the shoulder rehab back and some core workouts. But normally whenever I'm healthy and able to work out like I like, I try to do a lot of cardio, a lot of core stuff, and you start thinking about it. Your back strength is as important as anything. So back, core, and cardio. That's about it.
So I mean, like looking at like the steer wrestlers, they're obviously like 200 plus pound guys, usually over 6 foot, and then you have bull riders. Now I imagine their core is probably somewhat needed, but would you say like definitely more with bull riding you need that core strength?
Yeah, I would say that's the majority of how we ride bulls. Your between your thighs and your hips and your core, that's kind of where everything falls into place, and you can get away with a few extra things if you can just kind of hold what you've got from time to time. But being a steer wrestler too, you're using your whole body, you're using your legs, you're using your upper body, so those guys have to be strong just about everywhere as well. And I did that in high school, and that's a pretty cool sport to be in.
This is a random question, but like, this hula hooping, does that kind of help? Because it's all in the hips, right? I mean, you got to move your hips.
I don't know. That's something I might have to try.
Lance should have asked that to Cody Lambert.
Yeah, you should have
asked Cody about that one.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, so from the time that you started, how much has like the safety equipment and all that stuff changed for you?
It hasn't.
It hasn't.
It's been the same. Since I came out with the vest, when Lane passed away and all that stuff. Nothing's really changed from it. Now, a good friend of mine, he's in NASCAR, and he sent me a vest yesterday, and it's got like a parachute, or not a parachute, but a airbag on it.
Airbag, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, man, this might be pretty cool in bull riding. It, inflates before you hit the ground. So, I don't know. I can see some things.
I think they're using those for old people, too.
Yeah.
Dude, those slams, though, from coming up off of a bull and slamming your back onto it looks like it hurts really bad.
Yeah, I mean, an airbag, I'm sitting here thinking about it. That might be a pretty cool way to go, especially the older I get.
Well, and the simple fact that you have to, once you hit the ground, now you've got to get back up because that bull is right there, and you got to get away and hope that your bullfighters are able to keep them away from you. I mean, that in itself to me is an incredible feat, because I imagine just hitting the ground and the air just being knocked out completely.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely times you hit the ground and you don't know where you're at, and you're just kind of scrambling to get somewhere, and you end up being at the fence somehow, and bullfighters took the bull away from you. So yeah, it's
so you played football. So compare a football hit to a bull hit. Like,
that doesn't sound like a comparison at all.
Yeah, I don't think that works.
I don't know. I guess there's times that a bull hits you and it looks bad. It's really not that bad, but it's the time that they kind of hit you and mash you and they put all their weight into you. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's interesting, like going to the Cowtown Coliseum and watching some of those guys they're really trying to get into PRCA, or they're trying to make a name for themselves, and you see them and they'll take a hit at Cowtown and then they'll turn around, they're going to Billy Bob's to ride too. I had a guy that busted up his knee. I mean, it was swollen 2 to 3 times its normal size. I was like, hey, you probably should get that looked at, and he's like, nah, I'll be fine. Do you have that kind of same mentality, or
no?
Now that you're at the professional level, he's like, no, I'm going to go get this looked at?
No, I've kind of always had that mentality, like I watched other sports, how they treated themselves like professional athletes. If they had a torn ACL, they were going to go get that looked at. The cowboy mentality, I guess, has always been, well, it'll be all right, this and that. But, when you're doing this as a profession, you need to be healthy all the time. And I've always, they picked at me at times for taking off for certain events. But, if I'm not 100% and I can't come win, then what's the point in me being here? It didn't make any sense.
No sense in getting yourself hurt over something like
if I'm not able to win, then there's really no point in me being here.
Right.
I get that it's good for the sport when I'm here, but you got to start thinking about what's good for me.
So, and also good for I'm sorry, Chad. Also good for your family too, because you don't want to one day not be able to play golf with your son, or like go hunt, like you said, bow hunt.
No, absolutely, and that's always been in the back of my mind. I throw the baseball around with my kid all the time, and being out with his shoulder, like I'm trying to catch my right hand, throw with my right hand. Yeah. It's not the way I want to be.
So you were talking, it sounds like you've got like a real, I guess most pro athletes, do, but like thinking about like that winning mentality, and like if you're not number one, like you said, like what's the point of doing it? Do you beat yourself up if you didn't get number one, like if you didn't get, the place that you wanted?
You have to be satisfied sometimes with,
Yeah.
Doing all you can do if you didn't draw the right bull or whatever. But, if I had the opportunity to win that week and I didn't win, then I'm going to be upset. I'm going to go get on practice bulls that week, work it out. And, I'm going to be upset about it, be better for the next week.
So you do use that to prepare you, like let it motivate you, like let it sting a little bit, but motivate for that next round?
Yeah, I'm not going to go sit in the locker room and cry about it. But, you have to be able to know when to let it go and when to let it fuel you. And that's something, when you're younger, you don't really understand. But as I've gone through the sport and figured out how to win and lose at the same time, and that's the deal. You have to know how to lose and how to let it motivate you rather than let it tear you down. And
I love that. That's a fantastic mentality.
So how do you wind down? Like at the end of a ride and you're done for the week, how do you like relax?
I don't know if I ever relax. I'm not, that's not one of my strong suits. I can't just sit on the couch and not do anything. Like I've got to be moving 24/7. And if I'm not, then I'm lost.
So do you? I mean, whenever you do have that downtime, though, and I mean, I know you're spending with family. Do you have any like places that you all like to travel to, or?
My wife loves to go to the beach. We always go Cancun, Cozumel, or Cabo, or Bahamas, all that stuff. And my little boy, whenever I do have time, though, we own a ranch in West Texas now, and that's kind of something we're focusing on. And it keeps us busy, but at the same time, it's it kind of replenishes you in the same way. I like to work, and if I'm doing something I love, then it doesn't bother me.
Do you have a plan for whenever you get to the point that, like, I'm done riding now, my body can't handle it, or whatever, you're ready to retire from this aspect, but still staying active with PBR?
Yeah, so I've been commentating quite a bit this year since I've been out with my shoulder. This whole team series that's coming up, there's opportunities to coach there, and my wife and I own a wedding venue back around Beaumont, and she owns her own business, so we've got plenty to keep us busy.
Awesome.
Sounds like it. What are you doing on the ranch?
So we have whitetail, 200-inch deer, whitetail deer, and then we have axis deer. So sell a few hunts, and then we've also got a few lease members as well. So it keeps us busy, but that's kind of like what I love to do more than anything.
So I take it it's all high fence?
Yeah, it's high fence.
Okay, cool. Just to kind of wrap things up, now this whole the team thing, it's kind of a new deal. And I look back at like high school rodeo and how you have a whole team competing, but it's ultimately like the individual, right? Yeah. So is this as a way to try to like go into this team aspect, way to bring more viewers in, or?
Yeah, I think we're going to reach a whole new fan base. You got guys like Richard Childress that own a team that's NASCAR, Bass Pro Shops, Austin Gamblers. They are associated with so many teams, UFC, that type of stuff. And there's just it's going to open up to such a broader fan base, but at the same time, I think it's going to make the riders do better. They're going to be associated with each other, working out, and pushing each other.
It's a really cool concept. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. I've been on Global Cup teams before, USA, that type of stuff. And, whenever you got your teammates behind you, it makes you not want to let go a little bit more. And, it's more than just riding for yourself.
You're all still competing against each other, kind of, but ultimately, like you said, like they're still backing you. They're in your corner, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got guys that are dependent on you to put food in their mouth, type deals.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you and the boys ever have any side bets whenever y'all are riding?
No, that's against the rules.
Oh, is it?
Come on now.
Nope.
Say, I don't knock on nobody.
It's we might have a spurring contest from time to time.
There you go.
So, yeah.
All right. I'm thinking it's going to be really neat, though, like I mentioned about the teams, because it is hard to follow a single athlete in almost any sport, right? Especially when, maybe they've got X amount of time. If you're a long-time fan or whatever it may be, how long is a bull rider usually doing that?
It's crazy to, there's 5 years, there's 2 years, and then there's guys that have the 20-year carears,
Wow, really?
Quiñones is 46 years old, and he's here at the finals again. Won the world in 2002. That was 20 years ago, so.
Yeah.
But, once you reach 30, I would say the guys start winding down at that age.
Yeah.
But, Jose, or not Jose, Joao, he's 36, 37 years old, and he's number one in the world right now.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I just, it is hard to keep up with, a single person, especially when they may or may not be riding, or like you said, like if they were only doing it for 2 to 5, 10 years, something like that. But having that team, like you can always back a team. You know what I mean? Like, of course, you're still going to be very involved with like who's on the team and all the things like all the riders and whatnot. But like, it is nice to have that one team that's always going to be there that you can back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to have a team in Fort Worth. You're going to have a team in Austin. So to me, it's going to be like having the Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboys type deal for bull riding fans.
For sure.
You're going to want to root for your home team. So that's going to be the coolest part about this whole deal.
Is there going to be like drafts, or how does that work?
May 23rd, there's going to be like the first inaugural draft. Right after the finals, they'll select the first 5 rounds, 8 teams, and it's a snake draft. So, 1, then back down, 8 will get the first pick in the second round, and then flip around and do the same thing until we get to. And then there's a second draft the week after that. It's called the supplemental draft for guys that can't be there the full season. So that's guys like me, Jess Lockwood, guys that have been hurt. And I'll probably only go to 5 or 6 of the events.
Okay. For here in Fort Worth area, it's the Texas Rattlers, right?
Yeah. That's it.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and let us, ask all these dumb questions and everything, and try to get to know you a little bit and know a little bit more about the team and about the sport and all that. It's like I said, a lot of people. I don't know how many of our listeners are, PBR fans, but I hope this brings some more fans, to the different events and all that. So,
well, they love the rodeo, so
yeah. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thank y'all. Thank y'all for giving us the exposure, and if you're not a PBR fan, I hope you are after this.
Is there any place that people can follow, like your professional athlete page or anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can just type in Cooper Davis, and I don't know.
All right, cool. We'll see whatever pops up, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Really appreciate you, Cooper.
Thanks, Cooper.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, that was really interesting, man. It was really great. Again, thanks to PBR and also to Cooper Davis for the conversation. And I'm going to apologize now about the awkward question I asked. Again,
you should.
Listening back, I'm like, man, I probably should not have asked that. But, I was just curious.
Man, we are not, we try to be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he is a very serious, badass bull rider.
Yeah.
And so not everything comes across. You know what I mean? It is what it is, but it was still a good time.
Sure,
chatting with
absolutely.
him.
I learned a lot. Again, I really was not versed in bull riding, but after that interview, I have a bigger respect for it.
Yeah, you watched a lot of the videos and stuff like that. At PBR.
I did. Well, I
Yeah,
spent a good hour and a half the night before just watching his videos, and it's very dangerous. And for him to still be injured and to be able to still announce bull riding, it's very great.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's gonna get back on here, whenever he feels good and ready. It's crazy how these cowboys are just like ready to put their bodies through it. You know what I mean? And then just get back on the bull and then do it again. It's nuts to me. And
Right.
it's such a bizarre sport because it is so freaking dangerous.
Just like them cowboy butts, they drive you nuts, right?
They absolutely do. They do. You don't have to bring that up here, bro.
And with that said, I think we should just end it, right?
Hey, thank you all for joining us again for episode number 93. We had a great time with Cooper Davis and PBR and everything we've been able to do this past week. Thanks to Robin again, Course in Cowtown, Lance from It's Probably You for helping put together the podcast in PBR and then also doing a great job with your own podcast at PBR. Check us out next week. We're going to have the Lou Charles here back on the show.
Hey.
Looking forward to having him back on. Okay. So stay good, y'all. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
And I'm Tim.
And we are
the Funky Panther! Check us out at the Funky Panther. FunkyPanther.com.